is the best throw you can make.
Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. He joins us on the Out of Bounds show, brought to you by Subway at Grants Ferry. Subway at Grants Ferry. Go ahead and order your next catering order for your ball team or your teachers meeting. It's Subway at Grants Ferry. Mike D on the Out of Bounds show and the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Mike, LSU will take a week off. And then they'll face Alabama in an elimination game for the college football playoff. Do you think that Brian Kelly, Nussmeier, and the defense and everybody else will respond in a big way? And do you expect one hell of a ball game at night in a week and a half?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think they played their best against A&M, even when they had a lead. They can't run the ball at all. We've talked about this on the show before. They've had difficulties running the football all year long, and they couldn't stop the run. And now there was some extenuating circumstances with that too. Le'Veon Moss is a young man from Louisiana. He went to Struma High School in Baton Rouge. Dreamed all his life about playing for LSU. They did offer late in the process, but he was not their top guy. And initially, Le'Veon, he came to a couple camps I worked, and he had told me he was committed to Alabama. And, you know, he really talked glowingly about going to Alabama, playing for Coach Saban, all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden he takes a trip to A&M, and he jumped that commitment, and he was headed to Aggie Land. He was motivated a little bit playing LSU. And Le'Veon Moss is a guy that's really talented running back. I don't see how LSU sort of missed on that, but they were shooting for what they thought was bigger game, and they got caught with it. And so he was ready to roll that night. And man, you weren't prepared for the option quarterback. And Brian Kelly and Blake Baker made that comment after the game. Weren't prepared for it. They thought they were going to catch Connor Wegman, and Connor, he didn't play well at all. No. So I think they'll be ready for Alabama. They'll be ready for Alabama. Now, again, Milroe had a great game last year against LSU. He really did. If you were playing tag football, he'd have scored every time he scored in real football. But it's an interesting contest, and you have to play LSU at night in Baton Rouge. That ain't the easiest venue in the world.
Mm-mm. Wow. Okay. Well, A&M's on a roll, and we'll see what happens.
Hey, they better buckle it up this weekend. That's all I'm going to tell you. South Carolina, their front seven is very good on defense. Herb Tyler and I, we do the pregame for LSU, and we were talking about defenses across the SEC, and Herb was adamant about best defense I've seen all year long in the SEC, front seven-wise, like not secondary. Front seven, he said, with South Carolina, they're going to give people problems because they can get after the quarterback, and they really get a lot of penetration into the backfield. LSU should have lost that game. That day, South Carolina was the better team against LSU. But Nussmeier made some unbelievable throws in the fourth quarter. And then South Carolina, with an opportunity late to kick a field goal that would have put it in overtime, they missed the field goal. And LSU got an interception that Harold Perkins sort of set the tone and gave them a little oomph. But, man, Texas A&M better buckle it up because South Carolina is going to get after you. They got a lot of speed up front, and they got penetration ability coming off the edges. Now, again, offensively, they run the ball well, just can't throw it very well. Either that or they'd have beat Alabama, to be honest with you. They had Bama on the ropes and just couldn't put them away. But South Carolina, Texas A&M might be a game you take a real long look at. And that's an emotional game after playing LSU, and then you play South Carolina. Keep an eye on